What's up, nerds? So I just finished Wandavision episode 5, and I just have to say, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I'm happy now that the show is not just doing the sitcom thing because, like I said in my other reviews, I don't really like the sitcom thing. I've never really been a fan of sitcoms in general, so I'm really glad that they moved it kind of an interweaving of two that makes me happy just because I'm really starting to enjoy this show way more because of that, and I think that was a good thing, just because like I do know some other people that weren't liking the show because of that, and I didn't dislike the show. It's just it wasn't, I didn't think it was as good as I wanted it to be, but now it is. So we start off. We're gonna break this thing down now because I really did enjoy this episode. So we start off with their house, and they've got the two babies, and they can't get them to sleep. And I mean, if you have kids, who hasn't been there? So then they're trying to get them to sleep and everything, and they put them in the thing, and then Wanda, she's all like, "Go to sleep," and it didn't work. And I think that that's Wiccan using his magic to stop them from going to sleep, but I don't know. So I'm just throwing that out there. Um because he's like using his powers, like, against her, whatnot. So they get binkies, and I really liked that joke where he had the binkies in his ears and everything. It made me laugh because he just looked so silly when he was like moving his head and they were like flopping a little bit. That made me laugh. And then they're sitting there, and they spit him out and everything, and they're just like, "Oh, what are we gonna do?" And then Agnes shows up. She's like, "I was on my way to Jazzercise," and I like that. And she's like, "Here, I've come to help you with the babies." And then Vision's all like, maybe you shouldn't hold the children," kind of thing. And I loved how Agnes was just like, "Oh, do you want me to go from the top? Like, you want me to start all over and everything?" And she's talking to Wanda. And I liked that a lot because it's like Agnes is one of the people that knows what's going on, and I think that she's, obviously playing a part in this, because last episode she was scared that because what's her face wasn't supposed to be in this little world, and she told Vision that and everything. So she's like, "Should I start from the top and everything?" And she's like, "You're gonna do your thing." And then Vision's all like, "Hey, can I talk to you for a second?" And he's all like, "Yo, something's going on here. She is talking to you weird." And she's like, "She's not, she's just," and I think, and Wanda's got it going through her mind. She's like, I feel what's going on and everything. And then so they're kind of like going back and forth, and you can see Vision kind of like figuring like what's going on here, kind of thing. And Agnes is looking for alcohol and everything. People have said that before. When I had my kids when they were babies, they were all like, "Oh, just rub some whiskey on their gums." And I'm all like, no, that's you can't just be giving your children alcohol. I don't care what you are, but you do you, boo boo. Okay, I don't I don't want to rub alcohol on on my baby's gums and everything. I wonder who thought of that. So then they go to the cribs because he's all like, "Do you hear that? There's nothing." And that's when, if you're a parent and you don't hear any noise, you immediately go to your kids because you're like, "What are they doing? Something's going on." So they go, and the cribs are empty. They turn around, and their children are all grown up, and they're, well, not all grown. They're 5 years old and everything. And what little cutie pies. They were just little cutie patooties. I was like, "Oh, they're so cute." And then Agnes is all like, "See, you can't control your kids," or whatever. And then we go to this intro, and it's like a thing being painted and whatnot. And then we go through all these pictures of like the characters being little and everything, and them running through the town and stuff, and it's super cute. My favorite thing was the birthday cake had 1 through 5 on it, and I'm like, that's so funny because they had to celebrate those birthdays really fast. And then we go over to, they're in the kitchen, and oh, no, they're not in the kitchen. Sorry. They are in Monica Rambeau is getting scanned, and they're like, "You're not coming up on the scans." And I thought that was really weird when they're like, "You're not coming up on the scans," or whatnot. And I'm paraphrasing all this because I only watched it once and I don't remember exactly what they said. So don't freak out on me. But I thought that was interesting because I'm all like, is this how she's going to get her powers? Which I also, it makes me wonder, like, because she's kind of like Captain Marvel, but I just wonder, I wonder how she's going to get her powers as far as the power stone, the Infinity Stones go, because Captain Marvel got her powers from the Tesseract, but the Tesseract's not in here. But at the same time, in the trailer, we kind of saw the Tesseract. But anyways, we'll see. So then, Jimmy Woo and Darcy come in, and they're trying to figure everything out and stuff. And they go into this briefing with I don't remember the guy in charge, what his name is. And they're talking about how Wanda was a bad guy, kind of, how she got radicalized when she was young because of the death of her parents in Sokovia. It was a lot of everybody against the guy in charge and everything. And there he was saying that she was a terrorist. And I have to be honest with you, I was kind of on his side. I mean, I saw the trio, what they were trying to say, but I mean, like in this certain circumstance with Wanda kidnapping innocent civilians, she is now the problem. Even if she's being manipulated, they still have to look at her as the problem because she's using her power to keep all these people basically as hostages. And they were trying to defend her. And I'm like, listen, I get that you want to defend her and everything, but at the same time, you can't, like, I mean, you do all you can, but you got to look at her as a problem. And so he shows them this footage, and I think we're gonna see this footage like a flashback kind of thing, or maybe an episode leading up to this episode 1. We see Wanda breaking into Sword, and she's stealing the body of Vision. And that kind of puts the nail in the coffin for Monica, because she's all like, oh crap, maybe she is a bad guy kind of thing. Then we've got go back over to WandaVision, and the twins have something in the kitchen sink. It ends up being a puppy, but the mom comes in, Wanda, and she's like, what are you've made a human wall and everything. And then they move, and it's a puppy, and it's super freaking cute. I was like, oh, I just want to squeeze its little face off. And the twins are super cute. Not a very good actor. I don't like kid actors very much unless you're like a Jacob Tremblay kind of actor. But these two, they were super cute, and I guess that makes up for it. So the dog was super cute. And they're like, can we keep it? And she's like, I don't know. And then Vision comes in. She's like, oh, you're dressed up today. And he's like, yeah, somebody might come in. And, and then Agnes comes in, and she's all, and he's like, with the thing that we need. And you're like, what are you going to name the dog? And they're like, oh, I like Bubbles or something. And she's like, how about Sparky and everything? And I'm all like, okay. And then Wanda creates a leash or a collar right in front of Agnes, and Vision's all like, hey, she could have seen that. And she's like, I'm not going to hide it anymore. I don't want to hide who we really are, which I thought was kind of nice. And I'm like, why should you hide who you really are? So then the boys, they're like, can we keep the dog? And they're like, no, this is a lot of responsibility. And you really need to be 10 years old to carry this kind of responsibility. So they age up to 10 years old. And which kind of bummed me out, because the 5-year-old kids were way cuter than the 10-year-old kids. And but the 10-year-old kids like were better actors, kind of a little bit, not really, whatever. Anyways, so we go back to Sword, and the trio of Darcy, Monica, and Jimmy Woo are trying to figure out what's going on and how Monica can get back inside what they're calling the hex, which I like that a lot, because it's a reference back to the comic book, because that's what Scarlet Witch's powers are. They're hex powers. So, but I do like that they call it the hex, and I think it's interesting that Monica wants to get back in there. Of course she does. So she's trying to figure out, and then she talks about somebody in neuroscience, and they didn't talk about who that was. I'm very interested to see who they bring on the show to be the neuroscientist. That'll be interesting. A small piece of me wants it to be Shuri, because remember in Infinity War, when she was messing with Vision's mind and she was like moving all that stuff around, I really something on that level makes me go, oh, I hope they bring in Shuri, and she's all like, all right, let's do this, how can I help and everything. Plus it'll be interesting to see her be all like, I don't know, this woman killed some of my peeps in Lagos, which we're going to talk about in just a second. But it'll be interesting if she brings that up again. Whatever. Anyway, so they're talking everything, and then they're talking about how how did she get this powerful? And she's all like, well, she almost, and Monica's all like, well, she almost defeated Thanos by herself, but everybody got before he did his little snappy snap. And then Jimmy Woo's all like, Captain Marvel could have beat him. And she's all like, and the look on her face, like, I wonder what's going on there. Like, is she mad at Captain Marvel because she wasn't there for her mom when she died? That's interesting to me. But then her mom died after the snap. And I think Captain Marvel came to Earth before she died. We'll see. Anyways, so then they're talking about like, what's going on inside the world. And she goes to her clothes from inside the thing and she shoots them with Jimmy Woo's gun. And she's like, it's Kevlar, because she took her Kevlar vest, she reconfigured it to make clothes for Monica inside her little world. So I thought that was very interesting. I wonder what they're going to do there with that. So then we go back into the sitcom and Vision is at work. And they've gotten new computers, and his little buddy there, I don't remember his name, he's all like, this is so crazy. And then they get an email. And he's like, I got a letter opener. I thought that joke was stupid, but whatever. It's fine. It's probably very 80s and everything. And they get an email from Sword. And everybody started reading the email at the same time, which I thought was weird. But whatever. Anyways. So then he like touches the computer and then he like shuts it down, but then he's all like talking to, we'll say Joe, I don't remember this dude's name, and he does the same thing to him and he comes at it and he's like, you got to help me, I've got to talk to my sister, something about his dad, I can't remember. I'll go back and watch it again, but by then this will be done. And he's like, I got to call my sister and everything. He's like, you have to help us. It hurts or whatever. She's constantly in my head and all this stuff. And I'm all like, interesting. I wonder what's going on there. So he shuts him down and he goes back to being all weird and everything. And Vision's, he's figuring out something's going on. So then we go back to the Wanda and the boys, and they're training the dog, and they're like, hey, let's go show dad. And she's like, he's at work. And they're like, it's a Saturday. And she's like, no, it's not. It's Monday. And they're like, it was Saturday this morning. And she's like, oh, he needed a distraction. And that made me go, oh, she sent him to work kind of thing. And so then they were talking, then they sit down and they're talking about how family is forever. And she's like he'll be your brother forever. And then I think Tommy is the one that asked her, the one with long hair asked her, do you have a brother? She's like, I do, but he's very far away. I think that's what she said, and that makes me sad. And I thought that was a good way to explain death to your once 5-year-olds, now 10-year-olds, which were once babies like 2 minutes ago. But I thought that was a really good way of explaining it, because sometimes explaining death to children can be a little bit difficult. I haven't had to do that yet with my kids, so I don't know how I'm going to do it, but maybe I'll explain it like this. And then all of a sudden they hear something outside. And I'm not going to lie. I thought it was going to be because Evan Peters, the rumor was that he was going to be in this episode. I thought it was going to be Evan Peters, but it wasn't when they're like, I hear something and everything. And so it's actually a drone that Monica is controlling. She's going through this and everything. And, they're outside and she's like, she's trying to talk to her and everything, but she's not getting through. And then commissioner guy, I don't remember his name, the guy in charge, he, tells them to fire, and they fire a missile and you don't see what happens, but then all of a sudden you hear they go perimeter breach and everything, and then they go outside. And now I'm not gonna lie, this one I thought it was Vision coming through, because there were some trailers leaked, the mid-season finale leaked, and there's a thing where Vision comes through the portal or whatever, and everything. And I thought it was Vision. I thought it was that scene. So when Wanda came through, I was like, shut up, this just got so good and everything. And she's got the drone, she's carrying the drone, and she's like, here, did you lose something? And she's like, what are you doing here? You leave my house alone or whatnot. And they're all like, what do you want? What are you doing? And she's like, I want what I have, everything I have. And what I want is you to leave me alone. And they're like, you're keeping these people under, your thumb without their consent kind of thing. And they're like, you need to stop this. And then Monica's all like, you know, I would never hurt you. And she's like, oh, you're still here. And she like does her little powery things. And she's like, you're still here. I thought I told you to leave. And she's like, you know, I didn't want to hurt you. And you, some part of you wanted me to be there. I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember exactly what she said. But she's like, you wanted me to be there because you let me in and I help you deliver your babies and everything. And I really, this was my favorite scene in the entire episode, this scene right here. I really liked it a lot. So then she's all like, not even worried about all these guys pointing guns at her, because then she uses her little mind powers to have them switch their guns onto the guy in charge. I wish I remembered his name. I should have wrote it down. And then she goes, before she goes back in, I think it's Monica. She's like, what do you want? She's like, I want you to leave me alone or something. And then she creates this force field over the shield, the hex bubble, and it's red. And I thought that was cool too. And then we go over to the commercial that I was talking about earlier. And it starts off with spilling a cup of Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid is delicious. And this mom trying to wipe it up with a paper towel, a Lagos paper towel. Oh, no. And that's what the paper towel that she uses, Lagos and everything. And her husband spills a beer. And then it's Lagos. And Lagos is is in Africa, where they were fighting Crossbones, and then Wanda used her hex powers when Crossbones killed himself. He kills himself, blows up. She lifts it up, and then it explodes, and then that building had all those Wakandan scientists on it, and started the Sokovia Accords. So then move over to the sitcom, and they're looking for the dog. And the mailman's all like, oh, hey, your mom won't let him get out or whatever. And I thought that was a little wink, wink, nod, nod. And I wonder if all these people, like, they come in and out of it kind of like like they can only come out of it for a second to say certain things like that, like a hey, help me kind of thing. And so they find the dog. Well, Agnes finds the dog, and she's behind a bush. And I thought this was really weird, because she's like, he ate my, eucalyptus leaves. I can't remember what it was called. It was some bush. And she's like, I just found him and everything. And my whole thing is like, did Agnes just kill this dog? And because I don't know what plant it was, but I'm all like, first off, do dogs just randomly eat leaves off bushes? And if they do, who's got this bush that can kill dogs in a neighborhood? Like, I don't know. It was a weird line. And if I was Wanda, I'd be all like, what are you talking about, crazy? Dogs just aren't randomly eating leaves off bushes. Like, that's not a thing. Stop it. So then she's talking to the boys, and they're like, can you bring him back or whatever? I can't remember. One of them was all like, can you stop death or whatever? And my favorite thing that happened in this was when Agnes was like, can you do that? And it made me wonder back to, and there's been set photos of it and everything, which I think we'll learn about her past in the back. Because if she's playing Agatha Harkness, she's a witch. And I think that maybe she's dead, because in the trailer, she's like, when Vision's like, what are you doing? She's like, am I dead? And he's like, why would you say that? And she's like, because you are. I think she's dead and she wants to come back to life. And that's why she asked Wanda, can you do that? Can you bring people back to life? She didn't say the bring back, but she's like, can you do that? And I think that that's because she got a glimmer of hope of, hey, I don't want to be dead anymore. Bring me back to life, kind of thing. So then she tells her kids, do not grow up right now, grow up, because I want you to feel, you need to feel this. You can't just run away from this feeling of loss and death and everything. You have to feel it. So then it's nighttime, and they're back in the house, and Vision comes home, and he's all like, we need to have a proper chat. And he's all like, we're not going to go watch TV, and because you're going to change things overnight. We're going to talk about this and everything. And she wants nothing to do with it. So she's trying to end credits the show, which I liked that a lot. I did like that. And he's like, no, we are going to talk about this. And he changes his vision, and he floats up into the air. And he's all like, and she floats up into the air. And I'm all like, oh, it's a showdown and everything, which makes me go, I don't want them to fight. I really don't. But at the same time, I'm all like, something's going to happen. And he's all like, I'm scared. And I was all like, I totally feel you, dude. Because you like, and she's all like, you are my husband. You are the father of our children. She's like, I will not let anything happen to you. And he's all like, but you're doing this. And she's like, I can't be doing this. You think I can make sure everybody gets to a dentist appointment on time or drive safely or whatever? I can't remember all that stuff she said. I do remember the dentist thing. Because I wish somebody would help me out with that. Sometimes I forget about that stuff. But and then the doorbell rings and he's all like, look at it, and she's like, I didn't do it and everything. And I think either he says, I want to believe you, or she says, you don't believe me. I can't remember. And so she goes to answer the door and she opens it, and you see and in the sword complex that they're like, and everything. And Darcy's watching the sitcom, and you see white hair, and I'm all like, oh, because there was a rumor and I did a video on it. You can check it out up here. Yeah. It's Evan Peters is there, and he's Quicksilver. He's Pietro. And she's like, it's my brother Pietro. And he's all like, hey, I can't say hi to my baby sister or whatever. And the look that Wanda looks back and she looks at him, I'm just like, what's going on here? And then they hug, and Darcy's like, they recast Pietro. And I'm all like, interesting. And then they hug, and then it ends the episode. I do not think that Evan Peters is Pietro. And there's rumors of Mephisto or Grave or Grim Reaper and everything, and either one of those is totally fine. Something's going on here. I'm curious as to who rebuilt Vision and then gave him life. I do think that there's something going on with that commissioner guy. I'm calling him a commissioner, but he's not a commissioner. He's like the head dude of the sword. But I do think he was doing something with Vision's body, but that's that part I'm not interested in as much as I am was what's going on with Pietro now. I do think that this is at first I thought Vision was the bad guy, making himself look like he was Vision. But then last episode, we saw him as a dead corpse. And then this episode, we saw that she stole his body, which I think they said was like, no, 9 days ago, 9 or 10 days ago. I can't remember what number it was. It was like a week ago. And then at first I thought it was Vision that's the bad guy. Now I think it's Evan Peters that's the bad guy. He has to be the bad guy. He has to. Because I don't think it's Pietro. I really don't. I don't think it's Quicksilver, that character. But I'm excited to see what they do going forward with this show, because I did enjoy this episode. I really did. I thought it was very good. I thought everybody in the episode did a good job, like acting wise. I thought that especially Olsen, she does such a great job. She is the best part of this show, in my opinion. Like, I just love her. That scene where she comes out of the force field, that was so good. I love that part. So that's my favorite scene in this one. And then when they're fighting and they float, that was my second favorite, because that conversation was really good. But yeah, this was just a really good episode. I can't wait to see what they do next. I don't like to get into theories too much, just because if I'm wrong, I feel stupid for saying something wrong. And if I'm right, then it's all up here where it's safe. And if I'm right, I am totally fine with being right in my own head. So I have my own theories, but I'm not going to tell you what they are, because I don't want to look foolish when I'm wrong. So tell me, what did you guys think about this episode? Did you like this episode? Did you not like this episode? What was your favorite part? Who is your favorite character on this show? What are your theories? You can share them all with me. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on the next WandaVision breakdown and review. You guys have a good day. Bye.